Here we go, everyone. We are back with another mental health conversation, and I'm connecting with a longtime friend, someone who's been on the show before, to have a nice organic chat on all things mental health. Evan, it's great to see you, man. Thank you for coming back on the show.
Hey, I'm glad to be back, Vinny. Always happy to be on here talking with you, man. Always got great topics and good conversation. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. As we're recording this now, this orange skies are in the news. It's not really affecting me here. I looked at the air quality on my phone in St. Pete, and we were like 51 at one point. In the city, they're
Yeah.
saying it's like are you having any effects of that in where you are?
Oh man, I've just noticed it on social media that nobody starts talking about these wildfires until it happens to affect New York City. Here in Colorado, we've been dealing with the effects of these wildfires for a couple weeks. It has been gray and smoky, but we're pushing through it. It's exciting to see all the city folk start to get a little taste of what happens out here in the forests.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's definitely not precedented up there to see orange skies whatsoever. But we are here today to talk about mental health. What are some things you've learned about your mental health since the last time we've spoken, Evan?
oh man, last time we spoke was a while ago. I've
Been a
learned a
while.
lot about my mental health since then. One that I can confirm that I do not have great mental health. Um, but I can also confirm that it's not as bad as I think it is. It feels a lot more dramatic inside my head
Of
than the
course.
reality. And I know that because I checked myself into a psych ward earlier in the year. And when you think that you're like at the worst and you're at the bottom of you're at like rock bottom, you make a decision like that, and then you go in and you see people that are really at rock bottom and that really need a psych ward, and you start realizing that maybe you're a little healthier than you think you are.
Hmm.
The ability to recognize sort of like I say holes in your own mental health,
I like that.
it is a sign that you are mentally healthy in a way. Like being able to recognize your own fault means that you're healthy enough to recognize a problem, and that's actually pretty healthy. It doesn't exactly help with the problem,
I love
but
it.
it feels like it, knowing that there's a problem is okay. Knowing that you're in trouble is okay. But it's those not being able to recognize when you're in trouble that is really a problem. And so I've connected with a couple of mental health professionals, and continually talking to them. Um, but yeah, it's this sort of realization that like it's not so bad, but it still feels pretty bad. So, staying on top of it, talking to professionals, going through, I mean, steps like you've got in your mental health book, even the recommendations you made there sort of helps reset and ground a person back at like square one, which isn't a bad thing. We all think that we're strong and making healthy decisions and moving forward, but that it's not always moving forward in a positive direction. And sometimes, bringing it back and starting over at square one isn't terrible. Sometimes that's a good thing. Um, and even if it feels like you're still stuck on square one, uh, so I mean, I'm trying to take whatever steps I can to keep the mind occupied and energized and thinking positive. But yeah, that negative can still sort of leach in there. It's like a poison in a water supply. You can clean it up, but if it's still there, it can come back and get you every once in a while.
The itty bitty committee inside of our heads, that is something that I think everyone has a tough time dealing with. But I typed up here for when we go live, recognizing the holes in our mental health lets us know that we're healthy enough to recognize that, hey, okay, we can improve in some areas, and that's normal. Like you said, taking the time to reset, I think that is very, very crucial. And it can be on any scale, any level, the time to reflect, the time to just regroup and put us in a better path. And you're proof that you've been putting in the work. I'm happy to hear that, man. And I also am happy to hear that the Jets are going back to Denver this year.
Yeah,
So I might
we
try to
need
come out and
somebody to come.
see you again. I might try to come back out there and see you.
It'd be beautiful. It'd be, I mean, I don't know how good going to a Jets game is for anybody's mental health, especially if you're a fan. But of course, we'd love to have you out here. I'm sure it'd be a
Uh,
good time. You get to see
yeah,
the game.
yeah, absolutely. I had a great time last time. We learned now about some things you've learned about your mental health. Everyone out there, you are not alone. Let's talk about some things you've been doing to improve your mental health. You mentioned talking to some professionals has helped you a great deal. What are some other things you have going on?
So, I gotta say, sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep has got to be one of the most important factors in mental health. At least for me. I'm not saying that, it's necessarily important for everybody, but man, it is
It is for
done
me
wonders
too.
for me. I mean, I you know, started having problems with my sleep about October of last year,
Okay.
and I mean, I went months without sleeping, without good, consistent, like 8 hours here or anything. I mean, I was going 4 days without sleep and then crashing for a couple hours. And the effect that it had on my stability and mental health
Yes.
was enormous. I mean, I'm not claiming to be a doctor to know a whole lot about this stuff, but from what I've understood is that, in a way, there's like there's like weeds and small little grasses growing in your brain on a daily basis, and those wash away during sleep so that thoughts can become clearer the next day. I mean, it's it's tough to think about, but it's almost like there's a haze that builds when you're awake, and after 4 days, you can't see through that haze. And sleep is sort of the only thing that clears that up. And I mean, I've had to find a medication for it.
Mm.
That now, I mean, thankfully, I've got a medication that I can, take that, get to sleep, get myself 8 hours,
Yep.
and wake up refreshed. And it's not like my, situation has gotten any better in the morning. I mean, I'm still unemployed and still trying to figure life out, but I'm not down on myself. There's that refreshing
Mm.
sort of the sun will rise again tomorrow feeling that happens when you're able to get a good night's sleep that
100%.
is not there when you're sleep deprived. And I think that can come from any number of situations. I mean, it can come from just anxiety. It
Mm-hmm.
can come from real life stress. It can come from problems you're actually having. It can just be all made up in your head, but it can still keep you up and away from good, healthy sleep. And now, I mean, that's functionally my most important part of the day is making sure that I'm getting another good 8 hours. And that's tough. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've spent a large portion of my life trying to stay up later, to have more fun, to do more anything, play more video games, hang out with friends longer, watch more movies, and trying to turn my brain off earlier on purpose has been a difficult,
Uh-huh.
like, sort of thing to get used to. Um, I think that as a maybe a side effect of ADHD. My brain just wants more. I want more information. I want more
Mm.
video. I want more content. Just always and that's sort of when I feel at home, and it's not necessarily healthy.
Mm.
Taking a break from that and clearing the brain and doing nothing is sometimes just as important as doing everything.
Taking the time to rest again. I mean, I took it a bit overboard for a while. I was going to bed, grandpa status, 8, 9 p.m. because I liked my 8 hours. I'm a morning person. So getting up, I'm
Mm-hmm.
productive in the morning. I hit it. My day's planned out and I go. I haven't been getting up quite as early, but I still try to make sure the bare minimum 6 hours because I don't know about you. I have that internal alarm clock at times where I still wake up at the same times, even when I can sleep in. So
Yep.
that's something I'm always working on. I love the sleep recommendation. I love everything that you've been talking about here today. Evan, would you like to touch on any other areas related to mental health today? But before we get to that, I'd love to hear a quick word from our show sponsor, Tampa Counseling and Wellness, and you could find all of their information in the show description.
Are you constantly exhausted and overwhelmed? Do you struggle with your confidence or self esteem? Are you ready to live a life with more passion, courage, and excitement? At Tampa Counseling and Wellness, we want to be there for you every step of the way. While we understand that change may be difficult, we have a proven track record of helping our clients live a more joyous and meaningful life. Whether you are looking to overcome some current life challenges or you are looking to do some deeper healing, we are here to help you. Our compassionate approach to therapy is rooted in building your confidence and insight while helping you gain mastery of your life. If you would like to learn more about our services or you would like to schedule a free consultation with one of our clinicians, please visit us at www.tampacounselingandwellness.com or simply call or text us at 813-520-2807. We look forward to growing with you, Tampa Counseling and Wellness, where it is okay to not be okay.
Think that, it's really just from my own experience. One that if you're in a position where you're scared for your own health, whatever that reason is, talk to somebody about it. At the same time, um, there needs to be some kind of a mental health checklist that doesn't exist yet. I don't know that I'm the one to create it, but something that can sort of be like okay, are you have you slept in 4 days? No? Okay, well, maybe don't call the psych ward because they will put you in immediately
Mm-hmm.
and you will be stuck in a psych ward until they decide it's time for you to leave. And that's a weird thing. That's a weird position to be in when you're somebody who likes your own control. Get the help you need, but make sure that you're getting the right help. Talk to people beforehand. Don't necessarily just go for, hey, I need to be hospitalized, because it's scary. Um, Inside of a mental health facility is not necessarily better than outside for everybody. But get the help you need if you can, outside of a large facility. And if that's where you end up needing to go, then check yourself in. Um, it might be scary, um, but it's it's helpful in its own right, even if it's just to see that this is where you don't need to be.
Yep.
Um, it can be a tough decision to make, and mental health is something that can impede making those smart decisions. So, if you can recognize that there's a problem, just you're not. It's not so bad.
Well said, man. Well said. Thank you again for taking the time to hop back on this show. You gave a whole lot of golden nuggets along the way for people to pick up. Where can people say hello to you if they want to say hi?
Oh man, if people want to say hi, you know, you can find me online. I'm hey Mr. Bowtie on Instagram, and that's probably the best way to get in touch with me.
Thank you for sharing that. Everyone, hop on IG, say hello to Evan. And the show is at a mental health break or at Vincent A. Lanci. And with that, we are signing off here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another show on a mental health break. And I will see you next week. Evan, thanks again.
Thank you, Vinny. Good talking with you.